Hi everyone. So I have to improvise today because I'm at home with the storm. So I have my own little office set up here in the room upstairs. And today I wanted to just talk to you because I wanted to get this video out today because we're going to be working on this during the week. We're going to look at disempowering stories. So this is something I want you to focus on. Bring your journals tomorrow. I've written that in the email already. Bring your journals tomorrow because we're going to be focusing a bit on this, and for each person it's going to be different. Now, I'm just going to give an example here. Of a disempowering story, and we're going to go through a process of how we can change the way we think about certain things and certain stories we have about ourselves. So one really common one like you'd find a lot is I can't lose weight, or I can't let go of weight. So we're going to stop talking about like losing weight, so it's something that you can lose and find again. So I can't let go of weight. Okay, so that's an example of a story we tell ourselves. Like this mightn't apply to you, but just an example. Think of something that's similar that could be for you. It could be in any area, but obviously in this program we're looking at health and fitness. So it could be one like, I'm never motivated. I can never get the motivation to exercise, or I do something and then I quit after a couple of weeks. It's like stories where you can't do this, or I always do that, or and they have negative connotations. These kind of stories, they're the ones we're looking for. It'll probably be obvious to you because everyone has something that's specific to them. They feel like it's something they can't do, and the reason they're disempowering is because they take the power away from you, and that story becomes something you tell yourself enough times that you feel like it's true. So in this example here, this is one I did with a client recently, actually, a man in his 60s, but it worked really well for him as well. So the disempowering story he told himself was, I can't let go of weight. So we went through the evidence of that. Now, in his case, the evidence, sorry, I'm sitting on the floor, so I'm trying to write. We found evidence that this was not the case, okay? So he had to have a triple heart bypass. And he also is treating himself for type 2 diabetes. And for both of these things, he had to lose weight, which he did for the triple heart bypass, which was over a couple of months. And he's keeping his type 2 diabetes under control by controlling his diet and losing weight. Now, what he's told himself is that he can't let go of weight, but he can. But he gets to a certain point, and this story, this part of him that goes back to keep telling himself, I can't do it, it slips back up, and a bit of weight will come on, and it feels like, okay, well, I'm not doing this. But if we look at his trajectory, so his starting weight, and his current weight, example, don't even know if you can read that. Okay, so there's points where, say, he's lost weight, down, he might put on a bit again. The trajectory is going down. Now, he has a few outliers there where there's, he's lost a bit more, he's gained a bit more, but the trajectory is going down, so his current weight is lower than it was at starting weight when he started the program. So he can. So the evidence is there, he can, and it is happening. So that story, not true. So what we did then is we worked on something to try to help him get 2 points where he's an emotional eater. So he could, instead of having like a biscuit or 2 biscuits, he'll have a packet of biscuits. Or instead of going out for dinner and saying, well, I'll go out and I'll have baked potato instead of whatever, it's like a blowout. So if he goes out for dinner, it's everything. He doesn't drink alcohol actually, but it's everything else. Starters, bread, main course, mash, 4 different types of potatoes, things he shouldn't be having. That's the way his trend is, and that's where he feels like he can't let go of weight. So what we do then is we looked at an affirmation for him, and this is what we're going to do for everyone in the group. And this is going to be a basis for some bits and pieces we're going to do further in the next coming weeks. That's really going to help to get our mind straight around these stories we have for ourselves. I've done this myself for my business actually, and it's worked really well, and it's working really well. Some of these things are hard to admit to ourselves, but it works so well. So his affirmation is really simple. We had 2 actually, because he was talking about not being able to eat healthy food either. Weight falls off me. And that was one of his affirmations. Another one we did around the healthy eating, which is slightly different here, I won't even write it, was he was saying, like, I always go for the bold stuff. Is what he called it. I always go for the bold stuff, the sweet things and that kind of stuff. And we went through the same approach. I said, okay, well, do you eat fruit and veg? He goes, oh yeah, I'm actually pretty good for fruit and veg. And I was like, what snacks would you have? And he goes, well, if I wasn't having biscuits now, I'd only have them maybe once a week. I'd have a banana, or I might have a couple of nuts. And because I've gotten good now at eating a boiled egg and some spinach. So we were like, okay, well now you actually do it. So you're not, it's not that you don't eat healthy and only ever eat crap or bad foods, he said. So the next one, the affirmation that we had, the affirmation here that we had for that particular situation was, there is an abundance of healthy food around me and I enjoy eating it. Or there is an abundance of food that is good for me around me and I enjoy eating it, something like that. And the way this works, and like I said, we're going to work through this during the week in our sessions, and I'm going to do a webinar as well. And if anyone's willing to share their own disempowering story, something that's been really holding you back, please feel free to share. We can use it as an example. I'd love to use a real example again, like this guy here. You get up in the morning, this is your affirmation, you write it down on a piece of paper, you fold it up and put it in your wallet or somewhere that you carry with you in your handbag or whatever. You take it with you. But every morning, when you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror. One of the first things you do, and you say, weight falls off me. Now, the first time you say it, you might say, oh, weight falls off me, and you won't really believe it. You might mutter it or whatever. But the more you say it, the more you start to believe it. So it's almost like faking it till you make it. So you say it and you start to convince your mind, and you start to get really comfortable with that concept. And this idea that weight falls off me completely replaces this I can't let go of weight concept. It's a tool. This again is a really useful tool, and it's one we develop on as we go along. So this is going to be something we're going to be doing affirmations. We'll develop this and we'll grow on it. There'll be other parts to it as well as we go along to the next few weeks. Really powerful stuff, really useful stuff that works in conjunction with our food and mood diaries, with our 5-star approach, which is a handy one if you feel like you're going off track, with our exercise plans, our 20-minute exercise plans, again, things that you can just pull on and do as you need them. But this is going to be essential to our mindset stuff. So have a think about that for during the week, and we'll have a chat on Tuesday tomorrow, and we'll go through the details of it. And like I said, please feel free to share in the Facebook group if you want to, your own particular one. We're going to focus on one for now. Okay, so that's it. Yay! This is the exciting, the nitty gritty stuff that we might feel a bit challenged doing, but it's so useful. It's really, really useful. And even Pat, the guy I have here, he was like, yeah, kind of half